He was writing to my graduate program director, he was writing to my professors, he was writing to university admin, saying clearly that I'm a criminal and there is a case pending against me and you have to cancel my student visa status. I simply tweeted my sexual harassment experience and I simply expressed the truth that happened when I was young. And the industry doesn't want a woman to win in a MeToo case. I know very powerful Tamil media houses had very strict guidelines and rules to their journalists saying like nothing about MeToo in Tamil media. And Periyarist feminists in Tamil Nadu, leftist, anybody, Dalit activist, everyone is supporting Vairamuthu. I just don't understand this. Chinmay is a Brahmin, so we don't voice for her. She is critical of left movements, so I won't voice for her. So this is how sexual harassment cases are dealt in the Tamil civil society.
In 2018, when the MeToo movement was raging in India, filmmaker Leena Manimekalai named Tamil movie director Susi Ganesan as a man who had sexually harassed her. What happens to women who speak up during MeToo? Leena is a good example. She has been fighting multiple cases, including one of criminal defamation. She has been slut-shamed, and the industry that she belongs to has largely been quiet. Leena got a full scholarship to attend a film course at York University in Toronto. But Susi Ganesan went to court saying her passport should be impounded, as Leena can escape the country and not appear in the defamation case. You may think that the court will not entertain such a frivolous petition, right? Wrong. The passport officer impounded Leena's passport, and then a lower court actually asked for her passport to be impounded again. After weeks and months of fight, Leena has finally got justice from the Madras High Court and the Supreme Court, which has said that her passport should be returned to her. But Leena has found no time to rejoice, and in fact, she has put out a statement saying that she is feeling unsafe. Today, I'm in conversation with Leena Manimekalai to ask her why she put out the statement, why she feels unsafe about her fight till now, and what she expects from civil society and the film industry. But before we go to the interview, do subscribe to our YouTube channel and do become members of the News Minute. Leena, you have put out a statement on social media saying that you are feeling unsafe now. Why did you say that? What happened in the recent few days?
See, I've been making films since 2003. My first film came in 2003. So, set of journalists are also my friends. So, they are not tweeting about my case from their official handles, maybe like from the managements, from the company they are working. But they've been retweeting from their personal handles, like more strength to you. And they were retweeting, they were like, showing support. And so this guy is been calling the management and filing a complaint that this person is supporting this, Leena's case. And he was harassing my university people. He started harassing journalists who are doing their profession, who are covering, like for example, Srishti, who covered the article, covered for Article 14. So that 3-year anniversary article when she wrote, she was harassed by Susi Ganesan's lawyer and Susi Ganesan, and she even wrote about it in the article, how she was harassed. So this harassment is now being done to journalists who are doing their professional work and also who are my friends. When they retweet or when they like my post, he files a complaint to the management that they are being biased. This is really traumatizing because I don't know how to express this. See, if something happens to me personally, I can fight it. But if something happens to my friends, like for example, like Ranjini is my friend, but she's also working for a Film Companion. And she was there in the court reporting about the case. It's a public trial. It's an open trial. She was reporting it for the silver screen. But these guys, they actually made the judge ask her to get out of the, session. And she was asked, the police came and asked her.
That particular day, Ranjini was reporting for the News Minute. So I know.
Yeah, she was freelancing for News.
Yeah. And just to add to what Leena said, I know of at least one senior journalist in Chennai whose editor received a call from Susi Ganesan saying that he's unhappy with the tweets that she has put out in Leena's support.
It is so amusing, or I don't know how to say, amusingly ridiculous or whatever, because my passport got impounded twice. Regional passport officer impounded the passport separately, and the magistrate court directed for impoundment separately. Because the first petition was filed in September 2020, and then the lower magistrate court dismisses it. And then he goes to High Court, and High Court also dismisses it. And then again, August 2022, magistrate reopens the petition, which he already disposed in September 2020, and directs the impounding order. In between, Susi Ganesan takes the defamation case documents and goes to passport office and files a petition that a criminal defamation is pending, so you have to impound the passport. So I started getting show cause notice separately from passport officer, and I got one in Feb and the other in August. So I sent my responses. This is what has happened in magistrate court. This is what is happening in High Court. I sent my responses, and I also sent all the documents on the main defamation cases. And by September 3, I gave a personal hearing also. I went with all the hard copies, and I met the department in RPO office in Chennai. So September 9th, I get a impoundment order from the RPO saying there were police adverse effects and there was suppression of facts in my passport. See, I renewed my passport in 2017, and that was my fourth passport. I've traveled to 60 countries to shoot my films, to show my films, to screen my films, to attend symposiums, to study. So my travel history is very rich. So even after 2018 criminal defamation case, I've traveled to 20 countries with my new film, Madati. So my travel is it's a very important component, because as an independent filmmaker, you know what kind of respect you get in Tamil industry. So it is only because of international solidarity and the networking and the production, the grants available, the fellowships available, I've been making the films what I've been making. He also filed a miscellaneous petition asking me, that I should not speak to media, but the magistrate court did engage it. But the magistrate court impounded my passport. So I had to actually appeal on this in the district court separately against the magistrate order, and file a writ in the High Court against the RPO. So I was actually fighting two cases in district court and in the High Court against two impoundment orders. So when the High Court wanted to quash the impoundment, already Sessions Court had set aside the magistrate's impoundment, but this guy goes on appeal on the Sessions Court order. So I had to actually, club both the cases, the appeal on the Session Court order and the writ appeal, which I did in the High Court. And we requested CJ to give judgment on both, because see, if I get one judgment, there is a possibility of him going to RPO and saying I have gone to appeal, because the moment you go to appeal and it gets admitted, you get a notice that can be used against you. Actually is using all my court documents against me, because the moment you get you submit your admission letter, you submit your university letter, you submit your documents in the court, the petitioner has rights to get a copy. So he was getting a copy from the court, and he's been mailing every person in my York University. I don't know, in any other country, you should have been behind the bars by now. He was writing to my graduate program director. He was writing to my professors. He was writing to university admin, saying clearly that I'm a criminal and there is a case pending against me, and you have to cancel my student visa status. So this is what he's been writing to everyone, and he's been writing to Canadian immigration, Indian immigration. Like there were like 15 email IDs to, I mean, he's been constantly writing since September.
The whole court case has been exhausting for you. You have explained how it went for you, how he kept on putting case after case against you. Really, what has that taken away from you? I know a lot of energy, a lot of your time, a lot of your effort, but how difficult has it been?
See, for example, last 3 months, I was not able to write even one line because it's like 3 courts, because the main defamation is happening in magistrate court, the case against the magistrates impounding happening in the sessions court, and I was also asking for the change of magistrate court because the magistrate seems to be very biased. I am afraid that the fair trial is not happening because she has illegally impounded my passport. A magistrate has no power to do that. And then I was also appealing in a high court, writ petition in high court. So in 1 week, you will have 3 hearings and you have paperwork. You have like so much, homework to be done before going there. And like for everything he was appealing. So you also have to protect yourself when this goes to appeal. Like you have to file a caveat to know what is being, filed in the courts. So even then that Supreme Court thing came as a surprise because the order was so strong, and we never expected that this will go to Supreme Court. So court work is like, I couldn't do anything, but still I was doing my spring semester with York University, attending classes, but I could not do what I wish to do because most of them are, studio-based courses. So there is no use in doing virtually. So whatever I could do from here as hybrid, because York University has been really supportive to me. I mean, even the classroom sessions, they were fixing the mics and they were giving a window to me, and I was attending virtually in the physical classes that were happening, and the virtual reality studios, like they fix a camera and I had access through the camera to the virtual reality practical sessions. So this is how I was supposed to be there in Toronto, and 3 months I couldn't study. I'm here attending my cases. For what? I'm not a A1 accused. I mean, I'm not a criminal. I didn't sell this India secrets to anywhere. I didn't do any economic defenses. When people are doing so much crimes or roaming free, I simply tweeted my sexual harassment experience, and I simply expressed the truth that happened when I was young. And for that single tweet, my passport is impounded. So I could not travel and I could not study. And I don't know, these are all the things happening to my knowledge, for which I have the evidences. But I don't know what all he's been doing, because this whole industry is a big boys club. And each one is like, even if they're not friends, being a man, they're going to help him. So I always feel I'm not fighting one person. It is a huge nexus of caste, money, muscle, and the industry doesn't want a woman to win in a MeToo case, because then there will be more women coming, and every woman who have spoken till date will be validated, and this will not let them operate as a boys club anymore. And there will be a lot of there will be intervention from the state. There will be strict guidelines, and everything will come post the judgment. And this will definitely give power. Even now, every day, at least 10 young women write to me. I'm keeping the fight on only for them, because I get demoralized, I get irritated, I get I have to be honest. I sometimes think what am I doing? Because I should be creating, I should be writing, I should be making films. What am I doing? But I'm just keeping the fight on. Even today morning, I read 5 mails in Twitter and Insta. They're reaching out to me. They're talking to me. They're they say you fight for us, and we want to see you win. And this is what happened to me. So many men, so many women. Seriously, I am keeping this fight on beyond, because I have I don't have resources. I don't have money. I'm on a student status. I'm an independent filmmaker. See, for example, I made Madati. I don't make any money out of it. It is streaming in eStream. And people just watch in private piracy links, and you don't even get any income out of it. So, but still, I'm keeping this fight on with an amazing legal team who is helping me with all the subsidized fee and all that, because I don't want to, I don't want to discourage a young woman who is like following the story and who wants to like also, who will not hesitate to express when her dignity is in danger. I want the young women to get hope out of this. I feel like I have to go on, because I mean, this should not give even one streak of negativity to the women of future.
You said that from 2018, you have traveled many times abroad. So why do you think this man went behind you to impound your passport now? Do you believe it is because you got into the course in York University?
Maybe, because like even March 18th, I was in Colombia showing Madati in Latin America. It's a Latin American premiere. And I reached India March 18th, 2021, and March 24th, the lockdown came. Modi announced the lockdown. So since then, I'm not traveling. So, I mean, in one of the travel, I was in Toronto, TIFF, Toronto International Festival Industry, pitching my film for co-production. I came one day late because there were some delays, and I could not go to the hearing, and, they issued a warrant. Though we made representations. So the next day, I came early in the morning at 3 o'clock, and I went to the court by 10 o'clock and told them like, this is 1 day delay. And this is a summons case. You don't even need the person, the respondent to be there. You just need your counsel. But the lower magistrate court, you can ask the journalist who come for sessions. She every time insists that I have to be there from morning to evening. Nothing happens the whole day. I'll be sitting in the desk. And whenever the opponent lawyers speak, they call me names, and they assassinate your character. They use language that is very insulting. And for no reason, I'll be made to sit from morning to evening. And nothing, they won't even, 2 times they ask my name, they ask my father's name. That's it. They don't do anything, but they will make sure that I have to be there, which is not necessary. It's a private petition. It's not a warrant case. It's a summons case. So lower court, he was just using the lower court to harass you, because process is punishment. So this is what was happening. So your thing happened, and we were trying to file a petition on exemption of my presence, because I have to go, I have to study.
I mean, when your lawyer went to court representing that you have to go study, he opposed it, saying that you will escape from the case and not come back.
And he even compared me with Vijay Mallya and said, this woman is fleeing and she will never come back. I told them it's a student visa. So I was afraid to give my court documents, because I already know he's using all my court documents against me. But still they insisted. Then I submitted the Xerox copies of my passport, my student visa, my offer letter, my scholarship letter, everything I submitted to the court, which again, he misused it. They asked me to, and this was not a PR, this was a student visa. And even if it is PR, it is my right. Even if it is anything, even if because I have to be there only for witness examination. And I have to be there only for the judgment. I don't need to be there for everything. Why should I be there for when they examine their witnesses? Why should I be there when they are doing, cross-examination of the petitioner? Actually, legally, you don't need to be there. But he was using the judiciary as a tool. He was using the lower court to harass me, to put this, rules and, insist that I have to be there from morning to evening. And simply they will just, postpone the case, and I'll be there eating lunch and sitting there till 4 o'clock. And every court hearing, he will come with 10 lawyers and, the entire battalion. And, this is totally show off power and muscle and money. And, this is, I don't know. I mean, I've seen quotes only in cinema. This is the first time. As documentary filmmakers, you always look for stories. This time I became a story. So I just go there and I observe everything. And that's what I could do. But like, what else I can do? But this is what was happening actually in the lower court.
So for those watching, in 2017 is when Leena first told her story of sexual harassment. She shared it on her social media accounts. She did not name the person at that time. In 2018, there was a press meet called by the Women of Cinema Collective, which is the group of women in the Malayalam film industry. This press meet happened in Cochin. In fact, I was one of the people there at the press meet. And I remember feeling very triggered after that press meet, because journalists in that press meet kept shouting, saying, name a harasser, name a harasser. People simply wanted women to name a harasser. And perhaps Leena then chose to name the harasser in a subsequent post. She did that only after the press meet. And even now, Leena, it's only the WCC which has come out in support. In fact, you were speaking about how the Tamil film industry, for example, does not want a MeToo case to win. What do you think about the lack of support from the industry itself?
It is just not the industry. I mean, industry, when they are not supporting, I understand, because they think MeToo is something like, which they have a very, they really tease and mock MeToo movement, because they internally know that, everybody has a history. In my earlier post, I said, like, all of these people have blood in their hands. That's why they are silent. Silence is also an expression, right? When they are silent, because left, right, center, any ideology, mainstream, independent, any practice of filmmaking, artists, feminists, Dalit movements, everywhere, sexual harassment is something which is unanimously present. And most of them have blood in their hands. Most of them have some kind of history. And also, they think it is very, anarchist. And it's like, everybody comes out and everybody makes allegations on everyone. And I know very powerful Tamil media houses had very strict guidelines and rules to their journalists, saying like nothing about MeToo in Tamil media. Now, about my case too, there is a lot of follow-up with English media, but there is no article in Tamil media. Few articles in Tamil media. For example, Supreme Court dismisses the appeal. But one of the Tamil magazines reports, they didn't even mention that the appeal was dismissed. They mentioned that Supreme Court 4 மாதத்திற்குள் இந்த வழக்கை முடிப்பதற்கு உத்தரவு போட்டது. See, Supreme Court said that there is no need that she should be stopped from travel. She will travel, she will study, and you run the trial court case. And whenever she is needed, you give a prior notice and she will be present. Her counsel will run the case. This is what the Supreme Court said. And you can read the live loss report. But the Tamil media reports like that. And the Tamil media also always wants to, how they mention Chinmayi, if you have seen the articles, the language they use. There is an incredible slut shaming culture because we speak up. So we immediately become immoral because we speak up. So the way they mention Chinmayi, or the way they mention me, I have directed films, and my films are much better than many male directors' films here. But they will refuse to mention you as a director, and they will say like Kavita Ini and all that. I have never written poems. I never worked as a
lead. You find this attitude of both the people in the industry, which is people of all genders, and the Tamil media, really disappointing that nobody is there to actually support this fight. And one more thing I want to ask is that it was not just you. After you spoke up, Amala Paul, who is a big name in the industry, also spoke up. Despite that, against the same man, for those unaware of it, after Leena spoke about Susi Ganesan, another actor, Amala Paul, also spoke about him. But the industry did not acknowledge that too. Neither did the media to a large extent, right?
He's targeting me because he knows that he cannot target like powerful. I mean, he looks at me as somebody who is a nobody. I have no power. I have no resources. So she's the one who started. I mean, you know what happened to Priyamani's case. There were like so many women, but Priyamani was targeted. So exactly the same, like in Chinmayi's case, there are 16 women, 16 plus women who have reported against Vairamuthu, but they're targeting Chinmayi. And Periyarist feminist in Tamil Nadu, leftist, anybody, Dalit activist, everyone is supporting Vairamuthu. I just don't understand this. They just, the moment it is sexual harassment, the moment it is MeToo, they're all shut. As if like somebody has put the, gun in their neck. They just don't speak about anything. Like when it comes to MeToo, and they also invite Vairamuthu, like the left literary organizations, the feminist, Periyar feminists. I mean, the Periyar feminists are the like the most Tivramana Penniyavadigal. Even them, extreme feminists, even them, they are supporting Vairamuthu because it comes from their identity politics. So I belong to this identity. If this woman comes from this identity, which I approve of, then I will like voice for her. Chinmayi is a Brahmin, so we don't voice for her. She is critical of left movements, so I won't voice for her. So this is how sexual harassment cases are dealt in the Tamil civil society. I'm really, really, really like super pissed with this kind of culture. And I'm afraid of the future women of Tamil Nadu, because this culture is really toxic. And this is not at all helpful. And if feminists and writers and artists and leftists and Dalit fighters and social activists are doing this, you cannot expect anything from the ordinary, other people who are like not even initiated.
What about the film industry itself? Do you expect them to do anything at all?
See, industry is a big boys club. For them, Taramani is a feminist film. It's all about gaslighting. They don't even know what gaslighting is. But they say, like, this is the feminist film. Like, something which is glorifying gaslighting is feminist film. So they don't have any idea about women's rights or gender neutral space or equal pay, and nobody talks about it. It is just an industry with a filthy hero worship. It might be a director or a hero who they worship, and the entire thing is, operating around it. So to talk about all this politics, safety for women, equal pay, and like, gender neutral space, and, the way they treat assistant directors, you can actually report, that serious human rights violation happen in the sets. So, and there will be social justice directors, and they'll be doing that to the ADs. So this is like, they are in like, some 1 century behind, and we are talking about something which is like, which like, as today's woman, I want it, but there is nowhere I could have a dialogue with. But what change I see is, now these kind of things, they don't even discuss about it. When I came in 2003, around 2003, you can't even talk about sexual harassment. You can't even talk about, casting couch, or you can't talk about all these malpractices that are going on. It's all hush hush, secret and all that. But now people are talking in the, tea shops. People are talking in the drawing rooms, and definitely change is happening. And definitely there is fear that any woman can write about it or resist it. But they also don't recruit women assistant directors, fearing it. So there is change, but it is very slow. And if you think these, phallocentric Tamil film industry will come and support women who are Me Tooing, that's too much to expect as far as my experience is concerned.
So too much to expect from the Tamil film industry. I'm just going to ask you 2 more questions and wrap up, Leena. So yes, the Me Too movement, though many people may look down upon it, it does have a lot of impact on the ground. People are talking more and more about sexual harassment. Companies are being made aware of sexual harassment. There are policies being written. Leena, when you spoke about Susi Ganesan in 2018, and for what all you have gone through, I mean, I've had several conversations with you where sometimes you will be very upset, sometimes you will be ecstatic that something has happened. But have there been many instances where you have felt, why did I do this? I mean, did you sometimes feel like I should not even have done that in 2018? Or you are someone who feels it does not matter. I will fight no matter what happens.
See, I spoke definitely to amplify MeToo movement. I thought, you know, I mean, our conversations happened many times after MeToo movement. And it's just not for it's a collective voice. And I wrote because there should be more women writing, and there should be more women rallying, and come to streets and speak about it. I also spoke for my own sake, because I was having it in me and it is really suffocating me. And it is one incident which belittled me as a woman, which made me feel like, you're just a, pound of flesh. And that was a very violent wound that I was having. Yes, definitely the entire Me Too movement that was happening in the West, and the press meet in I was in Singapore actually watching WCC press meet. I was so angry. And that Malayalam actor incident only triggered me to write in 2017, because this was almost similar, this abduction and stuff. So, and then in 2018, I named it after watching that press meet. But to be honest, I didn't know that this will go this far. I wasn't prepared for that kind of fight. This is not something which is, I'm super disappointed, because I thought I wasn't alone. Yes, definitely WCC is with me, Network of Women in Media is with me, and All India Democratic Women Association initially extended support. I don't know where they are now, but there was support, but I never thought, as after a point it will become like a personal, I have to deal with all this shit. So even yesterday, when I was talking to a network of women in media friends, I was telling them, like, sometimes I really am left with the moment where I think, is there any sense to fight this, stupidity? It is thuggery, It is not something which is very intellectually stimulating, or which is giving you kind of a high fighting it. Because see, when I was fighting for my films against the tribunal, against the censor board, I was like filing in tribunal. There is some kind of political motivation. Like, you believe in you actually believe in resisting censorship, so you're fighting it. You believe in independent expression, so you fight with all these naval forces and army in Sri Lankan government and all that to come up with a film on enforced disappearances. So when you fight, you had some sense. Yes, I mean, I believe in it. I'm fighting it, and what the outcome that is coming out will be like, really will help my expression, my independent expression. And I think all the Cinematograph Act and whatever we are having now is because of the fight what independent filmmakers did with the judiciary. So, I mean, I found some sense. But sometimes with this, when you're fighting this thuggery, like, for example, passport impoundment and all these courts and all that, I feel some kind of a sense of loss. What am I doing? I mean, I should be using this time to create something. But I think this fight is also as important as making films. I think these fights are also as important as writing poetry. Because, yeah, you write poetry and few people read and there is a discourse you're creating. But when I met Soni Suri, because she spoke up, we had a new rape law. When I met Bhavri Devi, because she spoke up, we had Vishaka judgment. When I met Rehanas, because of her, we have all these Magila Samakya, Nirbhaya and everything in Kerala, and we get to know about what tremendous work they are doing. So women speak up, and definitely there is something which is which is going to help women in the next generation. So I think there is some sense in all the trauma I'm going through, but I really don't know. I'm just keeping the fight on because I only know fighting. But what is going to be the outcome? See, Priyamani's case, we have a good judgment, but he has gone for appeal. So what has happened in Tarun Tejpal's case? I mean, a judge has openly slut-shamed her. And what happened to Vinod Dua? Like Nishcha Jain wrote such a testimonial, and all intellectuals and leftists and well-known minds whom we think they are really sensible, were all writing like big obituaries and this and that. And okay, you write obituaries, but you also mention what happened, what he did, and he wrote an article mocking MeToo movement when the Harvey Weinstein thing was happening. So I mean, we have to keep this on, so that it is very difficult now. It's really, really difficult. But I think we have to keep this fight on, because there should be some beginning, no? So I don't know about the end, but I think this beginning is very, very important.
So there should be some beginning, and for Leena Manimekalai, for Priya Ramani, a lot of them, it has always been about fighting thuggery. And there's a very small group of people who support them. I wish that group actually grew in numbers. Leena, my final question to you is, to all the men, women, to the young people who would be watching you, what would you like to tell them?
When our dignity is in danger, it is our fundamental right to say no. And when we are harassed, it is our fundamental right to resist and fight and all that. It is really important, because that is where we tell ourselves that we are equal human beings. So I think it is a call of humanity. It's not about being a woman. Or I know many men who were abused. I know many children, male children who were abused. And this whole shame factor, this whole thing of idea of consent and all that, definitely the discourses have widened. And now when I meet young people in 20s and early 30s, the conversations are much more than what I had when I was in 20s and early 30s. So I see a change in this, and change is always very slow. It's a long, protracted process. That is something which I learned when I was an activist with left organizations as a student activist and all. So, but we have to definitely, hope in change. And we have to keep this conversations and movements and fights going on, because, sexual oppression is not something which is a gender problem. It is a humanitarian issue. So in all the crimes, it is only, the criminals who are pointed fingers at. But only in sexual harassment, it is the fingers are always pointed towards the victim. This has to change. And there is no shame in our women's bodies, in anybody's bodies. There is no, I don't carry dignity in my body. I don't carry, when we are violated in bodies, it is not something like, I have to die. Or, those conversations have really grown. And I think that is a big change, a big sweep of change. And I have known many women, many men writing to me, you are also fighting for our daughters, and we are with you. Maybe they are taking time to become open, to be with us and all that. But definitely there is, they're writing to me and they think we want to, when I crowdfunded my legal expenses, and there were so many people who sent me money saying this, I am sending you this contribution because this fight is for my daughter. So it is not just women who are supporting me. There are many men who are supporting me. So it's for the women of future. And I think the conversations now have really grown, evolved, and it is going towards right direction. I really hope the numbers are very less. See, for example, in the West, many powerful women came, and like one became 10, 10 became 100. But here the numbers are still very small. So I want this number to multiply, amplify. Like there should be like some, thousands and thousands of women coming. That can only strengthen this. That can only, and patriarchy, it's just not the women who are suffering. Even the men are victims of patriarchy. So, there should be collective strength. There should be more numbers, and there should be more voices. And definitely this beginning will, really make that happen, I think. That's a hope.
Thank you, Leena. So, very important point that Leena makes there, that why is sexual harassment or any kind of sexual violence the only crime where the finger is pointed at the person who's making the allegation? The accused gets away most times because society tends to blame the person, in many cases, the woman who is the complainant. I know the kind of battles that Leena has been fighting for the past few months, and the battles are not over for her. The big case is still pending in court. But look at how Leena was talking to us, the strength which she exudes. And that's exactly what is special about women like Leena and Chinmayi and so many others. Despite what society has been telling them, despite organized attempts by the industries they work in, by the media that is supposed to help them, to really bog them down, to label them, to slut shame them, this is a strength that they have. And what we should do as society is to add numbers to their strength, is to support them. Thank you very much, Leena, for joining me in this conversation. Thank you very much to all those who listened in.